Well, guess I will say something. Just I forgot to clean my visor. Just leaving work now. It's one of those Mondays where nothing seems to be going right, so I'm a little bit annoyed or frustrated. One thing I did want to talk about was that I am currently filming at 720 60 frames a second, and tomorrow I want to try at 1080 30 frames a second. This camera can't do 1080 60, so maybe you guys can tell me what looks better, HD at 30 or 720 at 60. Oh, there's like no traffic, it's very weird. Side note, I think my earplugs are a bit too far in. I can barely even hear myself talk. Yeah, so that was one thing I wanted to ask you guys, was I'll do a test tomorrow way home from work, 1080 at 30, or now what I record at 720 at 60. Generally I prefer 60 because just looks a lot smoother, looks a bit more realistic, especially for riding. It gives you that sense of speed, whereas 30 frames a second, I don't know, it just doesn't seem as crisp. Yeah, so there's that. And wow, that building's getting built quickly. The other thing I wanted to talk about was how riding a bike is very similar to learning a martial art. In the past, I used to do Kung Fu. Yellow light. I used to do Kung Fu, namely Wing Chun, and currently, although I haven't gone in a little while, I do Muay Thai. And similarities between riding a bike and doing a martial art is that before you start either riding or training, you have this perception that you could do it quite easily. Yeah, I can kick some bags, I can punch. And when you start riding, you're like, yeah, I can ride a bike. Go on a little course, and you get the basics down, and then you can ride. But as with anything, the more you start doing that particular activity, such as training or riding, you realize that there's a lot more to it than just getting the general idea of how it works. So like when I started Muay Thai, I was like, yeah, I can punch, I can kick, I've done martial arts before. But then when you get into it, you realize that there's special techniques to kicking, the way you flick your leg, the way you punch, the way you hold your hands, all that kind of stuff. And I think that definitely applies to riding a bike. There's obviously body position. Okay, I'm not an expert, but obviously there's body position, throttle control, how you use the brakes, how you look for people walking in between the cars, like this guy. Thanks, man. At least he stopped to look. How smoothly you go through corners, where you're looking, yeah, and all that stuff. So I don't know, it just got me thinking about my own riding experience. Like, after riding a while on this bike, I realized, like, honestly, I still have a lot more to learn. Like, I can handle this bike just fine in day-to-day riding, like between traffic, but when it comes to riding fast and choosing the correct lines and being smooth, still have a lot more to learn. There's obviously a lot of techniques and things you only get good at over time, just like a martial art. So if you take that approach to riding as you do with learning any new skill, then you can only get better over time. But wow, that was close. But it takes practice and perseverance, and you'll eventually get to the skill level where you want to be. And at the track day, I was really admiring not really the speed that people are going, but of the fast riders, of how they controlled their bike. It was basically just an extension of their body. They were really smooth, really precise, and really accurate with the way they got into corners, how they got in their power, how they got in the brakes. And thanks, mister. And yeah, I really admired that, and I want to get to that level on my bike, where if someone watches me, they can say, wow, that guy really knows his bike in and out. So yeah, I'm making a concerted effort to get more training, well, more ride time. So at the end of the month I'll be heading to another track day, because after that first one I already feel I'm a much better rider, and I feel that I learned a lot from that, and going to more can only make me better. So yeah, that was the random thought tangent I had. I don't know if you guys feel the same. Maybe you want to comment on that, or share some of your experiences. So yeah, I don't know if there's that much more to say. Oh, I watched a movie called Why We Ride on the weekend, which is kind of, as the title suggests, it was a documentary about people's reasons of why they ride bikes. And one of the things that one of the people being interviewed said was that you could have a really terrible day like I had today. Whoa, ultimate squid. And this guy? No, he's fine. Check at that exposed skin. No gloves, no jacket, shoes. Oy. Anyway, so what he's saying that is, if you've had a crappy day, you get on your bike, a couple 100 meters, kilometer or two down the road, all that stress from the day is already worn off. Like now, I already feel better. Oh, that guy's riding crap. Like now, I already feel better just riding down the highway. So yeah, I think bikes have a great stress relief aspect to it. I guess this is where all the traffic is. Why does it smell like petrol? What the hell is going on here? I bet you the robots are out. Or not, I can see them from here. What are you doing? Not looking, that's what you're doing. What's up with this traffic, man? Oh shit. Somebody got their car messed up. Oi, it's gonna roll into the road. What are they doing? I don't want to fucking ride through that stuff. Oi, unlucky. Unlucky. Oh, looks like he hit another bucky.